What's up, guys? Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wasserman here doing another NFC East 3-round mock draft. Now we're doing the Washington Commanders, who've had a pretty surprisingly good year, Dalton. First year under Dan Quinn, first year with Jaden Daniels as the quarterback, and both of them have been doing excellent for Washington this year, which is why they're picking number 21 overall in the NFL draft as of right now, as of recording this. So let's pull up the PFF Mock Draft Simulator right now. Of course, you can draft your favorite team, all 32 NFL teams if you want as well. A full 7 rounds. We're only doing 3 on this show, but you can do a full 7 rounds for your team or every team if you're a true sicko. You can do it as well. You can trade picks for this year, next year, and the year after. You can even trade players if you want to do that as well. Be fully immersed as the GM of your team or every team in the NFL with the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. All right, Washington here up at number 21 overall. Don, I kind of looking at the board right now. There's some interesting players here. Like, I think Shamar Stewart is a solid player. I don't know if I would take him this high. Michael Williams.
Do we think Michael is he a fit in Dan Quinn's defense? They kind of move some pieces around. Kenneth Grant, too, on the inside there is interesting. I think D-line is definitely a point of emphasis for them. Although, I got to be honest with you, man, I wouldn't hate Emeka Egbuka. They need, when I watch them, I think they need one more receiver. They struggle to separate versus man coverage. I wouldn't even hate Egbuka here and just continue. I know they need help on defense. I know some offensive line pieces would really help them. I think Egbuka actually could be a nice piece, or even something down there like an Alec Iamainer we see down there at 28th on the big board. I would not hate a receiver here. I think, to me, the receiving core, tight ends are good, but Terry McLaurin is kind of out there by himself at wide receiver.
Tyler, can you score on a couple more? Because I think there's one more player. James Pierce Jr. is one I was talking about.
That's a thought, too.
Because I think he's going to go higher than where he's listed on our big board right now at 21. They need help at edge with Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler Jr., Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah.
I think Pierce is a top 15 to 20 talent in this draft.
Dan Quinn is squeezing every bit of juice he can out of some veteran defensive linemen, but if you put James Pierce Jr. in there and the ceiling he has, I could reason with that too. They need help still on multiple layers of their defense, but a high ceiling pass rusher like this, well, I mean, Quinn had Micah Parsons for those years in Dallas, and I'm not saying Pierce is built like or that he's Parsons, but I'll tell you what, the ceiling is
he's a freak.
He's a freak. He's an athletic freak, and I think Dan Quinn knows that those guys make a difference. So I could reason with that too. Obviously, Pierce is going to be a fun evaluation through the spring because of the athletic ability, and there's kind of this perception that he hasn't been as good this year, but he's still been really darn good, and he's even gotten better against the run, which is a big factor too for this team. I think they just need to get better in a lot of aspects of their defense. So I could totally reason with Pierce. I could reason with a receiver. I don't think there's a lot of offensive line options right here on the board for us. So either one of those two guys, I think Egbuka or Pierce, I'd be good with.
I think we chase the upside with Pierce, and then we hope that a good receiver is available to us in the second round.
There are a ton of receivers. Actually, I think these are arguably two of the deeper position groups in this draft. So I think you have options either way. I think there's still maybe not the top-end receivers like Harrison and Neighbors we saw last year, but still a lot of receiver depth, and there's a boatload of defensive linemen. You could even double or triple up on defensive linemen. Maybe we'll do it here.
Yeah, I kind of like Pierce here just because I think edge is a much bigger need, and they don't really have juice in that edge room right now. Like, Dorrance Armstrong's not the most athletic edge defender. Dante Fowler's kind of lost the juice he had from, 10 years ago now.
They're getting by with players who should be playing part-time.
Yeah, exactly.
James Pierce Jr. would be an every-down player.
Yeah, I like – all right, so let's go with Pierce here to Washington here at 21 overall, who I think will be going around this range probably in the NFL draft as well. So I think it's a good pick there. Let's see who is available here, Dawn. So, again, offensive line, I like the receiver call-out you had as well. Anyone here that really stands out to you? I'm trying to see who the offensive line is.
I'll tell you, there's a handful. I mean, I even look at, I think the defensive side. Oh, there's a guy there. Oh, man.
Restrepo.
I love Xavier Restrepo. I know they took Luke McCaffrey, but there's some good football players here. Restrepo's really good. Trey Harris maybe as an outside threat. I think is this the thing? I think Luke McCaffrey, I think they believe in him in the slot. So maybe lean away from the slot. An outside threat would be a guy I need. I saw at the top, even if we wanted to double up on the defensive line, Kyle Kennard was up there. Jared Ivey was up there. I mean, there's some really good players. And hell, Xavier Watts, I think would fit in. I think Dan Quinn would love Xavier Watts. I don't think that'd be a ball hawk like that. Are you kidding me? I mean, especially he's gotten better at tackling this year. I think you have a ton of options here. Mike Green from Marshall is the guy we've been talking about. Underrated pass rusher leading the nation in pressures right now. I think they have a ton of options, but the more I look at this, I think defense is the way to go again with the talent that they have. And I think this is a really good draft for Washington to be in. I think it's a defense-heavy draft for the most part. A lot, really the opposite of last year when, the first 14 picks went on offense in the first round. It felt like offense was all we talked about. I think you got a ton of options here for the Commanders.
I kind of like the Xavier Watts call out. I don't know if we should double up on edge immediately in the first 2 picks. So I kind of like Xavier Watts. Obviously, what they have in the safety room right now, they got Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin, Percy Butler. Nothing crazy there.
He gives you a ball hawk.
Yeah.
Right? Like Martin kind of floats around. Chin is more of a box safety, gets up as that extra linebacker that Dan Quinn likes. I think Watts could be a very reasonable pick. I wouldn't hate that at all. And you have him roving back there hunting for the football in the secondary. I know they need corners too. I don't know what kind of corners we have in this range of the board, or maybe that'll be our next pick. But I think Watts makes a lot of sense. I think he's fast, he's a ball hawk, he's versatile, and as long as he can tackle at an NFL level, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah. All right, let's go Xavier Watts then. I like that fit a lot in the Dan Quinn defense. So go Xavier Watts, the safety out of Notre Dame, as our next pick. Final pick we have here, Dalton. Now we got some receivers we can look at. Kobe Hudson, Jalen Royals. We start looking at the cornerback class. Start looking at maybe the tackle class as well. Marcus and Bo right there as well. Anyone here stands out to you? As I kind of like the 2 receivers at the top, but also I know we're kind of ignoring 2 bigger needs that they have at tackle and at corner. So I'm trying to think about who was there as well, but
yeah,
I
think we could scroll down a little bit. I wouldn't even mind seeing more of the receivers that we have available, just to see the type of guys we're looking at, because I think a lot of this receiver class is going to be about picking some, your flavor and what fits your team, right? And I think Hudson and Royals make some sense as guys who can be deep threats. I think there's a name there that we talked about in the Dallas video that I think could be relevant here, and that's Tate Ratledge too on the inside. I think all around the Commanders' offensive line, they need more talent and they need pass protection, right? So I think there's several good options here, but I think those top 2 receivers, I want to look right now just to see. I want somebody who can win against man coverage and who can win deep down the field. I'm curious about Hudson and Royals. I haven't looked at their numbers in a minute. About, are they vertical threats? Are they guys who can really threaten a secondary over the top? Because I don't think the Commanders have enough of that right now.
Yeah, I kind of feels weird because I know they really need a tackle. We haven't picked a single offensive lineman yet, and I know that's
right.
Something that fans are probably clamoring for right now. So I'm looking at Marcus and Bo right now.
That's definitely a thought. I'll never go against a solid trench pick like that. I'm not, I get that too, because in the weeks where they have played well, they have been really good on the offensive line. In these games that they have lost against better defensive fronts, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Philly, that's where they've gotten beat, is on the inside. So I wouldn't hate Mbo for a minute here. If you're talking about maybe taking over at right tackle for Andrew Wiley, moving Brandon Coleman inside and putting Mbo at left tackle, I mean, that's really a big thing. I think the general theme here is surrounding Jaden Daniels with everything that he needs, right? Because right now it's Jaden and the backs and Terry McLaurin, and not a whole lot else. And also I think at some point in this draft we could see them take a running back, but we'll see where that goes as well. It's a deep running back class. I don't hate the Mbo pick. If you want to go offensive line, I don't hate that at all, because you got to protect Jaden Daniels. All
right, yeah, let's go with Marcus and Bo, round out the full mock draft for the Washington Commanders. So what we did for this mock draft for them, we drafted, of course, at the top of the draft, James Pierce Jr., the edge defender from Tennessee at number 21 overall, Xavier Watts, safety from Notre Dame at 53 overall, and then Marcus and Bo, the offensive tackle from Purdue at number 76 overall. So we got for our full 3-round mock draft for the Washington Commanders. Of course, we're doing more of these mock drafts for every single team in the NFL. And if you want to do your own mock draft, use the PFF Mock Draft Simulator today, only at pff.com. We've got more mock drafts coming out very soon for full 3 rounds for all these teams. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for all the mock drafts coming out very, very soon.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.